going, guys? This is Drew. I'm about to show you guys how to do a oil change on a 2011 Volkswagen GTI. Here we have the tools that we're going to use. There's a 19 or 18, I forget, millimeter nut for the oil pan, so we have that there connected to a drill. I did the most recent oil changes, so I know that the torque on both the nut and also the oil filter are both pretty reasonable. Neither of them are too tight, so we're not going to need anything crazy. We also have the jack that we're going to use to jack up the car. Ideally we would have something a little bit nicer, like a really good like hydraulic jack, but since I wanted to kind of do something a little bit more accessible, something that everybody could do, we're using the ones that come inside the Volkswagen GTI. We also have jack stands, which are very important. You're going to want to put one on each corner of the car. And then of course we have our oil catch can there, so that we can not waste any of the oil. Go ahead and have that all recycled at a local parts store. Alright, so we've got obviously our fresh oil, a fresh oil filter, and a few other just kind of little doodads that might come in handy. But this is not my first time changing the oil on this car, so it should go off without a hitch. You guys may have a few more surprises with your experience. And the first thing we're going to need to do is jack up the car in all four corners. To do that, we're just going to start out underneath, find a place to set the jack underneath the car, and then we can start screwing that up. This would be faster, of course, and easier with a purpose-built hydraulic jack that you could find at the store, but I wanted this to be something that anyone could do, which is why I'm using what comes with the Volkswagen. Get that raised up. I would say this is maybe a little bit low. Once we have the car properly jacked, like so, on a jack point, we can go ahead and start loosening this guy here. So we bring this down. Make sure this sets properly on top of this. We're going to want to do the same thing on all four corners, which means jacking up the car to an acceptable height. In this case, I just wanted to get it barely enough to get up underneath the car. I don't want to get it up too high and stress out the limits of this kind of small jack here. I really just want to get it up off the ground. I'm relatively small myself, so I can work in smaller spaces. Of course, people of different sizes have different needs. Because of the height of the ground that I'm on right now, I don't really need to take it all the way up. On the back especially, the natural slope of the ground means that I can get up underneath as much as I know I need to with just these two ones on the front. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and head up underneath and start getting the oil drained so I can get started on it. The thing I can go ahead and do is take the engine oil cover off, just so that we'll have a more easy way to get up underneath there. So that just lifts right up. It's got a couple little push points, which means we have more easy access to the bottom here. And also the oil lid. I'm just going to get that a quick clean with the microfiber towel, because you don't want any sediment or anything getting in there. That's the inside of your engine. So get that a little bit spruced up. Give it a firm twist. And it should pop right out. We'll set that off to the side for now. Right here is good. Just like, actually, you can probably leave it up like that, and then lay the cloth on top. Okay, now we're gonna take out the oil drain plug and go ahead and get the oil running out of the car so we can let it drain. Then after that, we're going to replace the oil filter and replace the drain plug and put oil back inside the car. I looked at it a minute ago and I noticed there's a little bit of oil in places oil shouldn't be, which means that there must be an oil leak somewhere in my car. And in this case, I don't see it immediately. I can't tell exactly where it might be. So we're just gonna have to figure that out. So I might take this into a shop at some point in the near future. People who have much more expertise than I do, and have them take a look and see if they can locate any specific leaks anywhere. Because I'm unable to find exactly where. It looks like it's definitely very slow. There's not a whole lot of oil, just enough to cause concern in my case, because this car has about 90,000 miles on it, and I really don't want it to break down on me anytime soon. So I'm going to have that checked out. Alright, so I successfully got the drain plug off of the oil pan, and now we're just waiting for that to drain all the way. The stream looks like it's gotten pretty slow. Once it's almost non-existent, I'm going to go ahead and take the oil filter off the motor. So in this case, I kind of did a little bit of prep work already, so we can just get this hose kind of popped out of its brackets here and here. Go ahead and get that moved out of the way. Then we can start using some hand twisting. And then I did my oil about, I want to say 5,000 or 6,000 miles ago, and this is a car that I drive pretty hard. You know, I don't baby this car too bad. I mean, I don't take it to the track or anything, but it's also getting its fair share of spirited driving. So I change the oil about every 5,000 or 6,000 miles in this case. So we just take that out. Done. Like it is now. And I can just pick right up, and come out just like that. All right, now that we have taken off the old oil filter and the oil down at the drain is almost completely done, we're almost set. We're gonna go ahead and take this new oil filter, dab some fresh oil along this seam here so that's easier to take off in the future. I just did my girlfriend's Mazda 6 a few minutes ago, and it was a lot tougher to do because the previous time it had its oil changed, the torque on everything was much tighter, so yeah, that was a little bit more difficult. So this time it's a little bit easier. Oil filter has been replaced. It's been hand tightened, as we can see here. We can actually go ahead and take these hoses and set them back onto their brackets. There and there. All right, so now we have our funnel in the oil hole, and we can go ahead and start pouring our fresh oil. I'm gonna probably have to take my hand away from the camera for this. Or not. So we're just gonna pour that. Okay, so we have about the right amount of oil poured in. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set that plug off to the side, get our dipstick out, clean it. I'm having to do this with one hand, so we'll give my goofery, get that set, gotta wait for a minute, pull it back out, and inspect the oil level, which it still looks a little odd, so I'm going to have to let it wait for a little while to see how the oil sets in place. Okay, so I had the chance to go ahead and double check the oil fill level with the dipstick, so that was checked. It turned out to be just right, maybe a little bit too much, but it's an older car, so it does oil burn a little bit. Consumes a little bit of oil, especially with the way that mine is driven. So a little bit extra is fine, as long as it's not, you know, overflowing, of course. And go ahead and get that cleaned up a little bit. Make sure it's cleaned up around here. And then that is done. We can go ahead and take the engine cover, push it back down into place, and it's all set. Give it a little wipe down to clean it up a little bit. And then while we're open, while the hood is up, we can go ahead and take a look, wipe some things down, and then take a look at some fluids. It looks like right now my coolant, you guys probably can't see that, it's a little low. I'm probably going to top that off while I'm under here. And then that is basically it, you guys. A oil change for a 2011 GTI. This was actually pretty quick, and using all the materials that I used, like the catch can down there, I ended up using an impact wrench for part of it. Shouldn't have done that. Ideally I would have used something a little bit smaller, and then obviously hand tools would have been ideal, but I didn't have quite the right assortment at the moment since I did recently move and wasn't able to bring all my tools with me. So we have our used oil back there. That's basically it. So thank you guys for watching, and let me know in the comments any further videos you guys would like to see, any other repairs for the 2011 GTI you guys would like to see. I think next I'm going to do transmission fluid and brake fluid, and then maybe a few other things in the pretty near future. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.